The world has been watching closely, with every headline and breaking news alert capturing the attention of millions. The Ukraine conflict has become a defining issue of our time, shaping international relations and testing the resolve of global leaders. As the situation unfolds, the stakes have never been higher, and the decisions made now will echo for years to come. All eyes are on the United States as it weighs its next steps and decides its role in the ongoing Ukraine war. The halls of power in Washington are filled with urgent discussions, as lawmakers and military officials debate the best path forward. After a series of high-level meetings in August 2025, President Donald Trump made a landmark announcement: the United States will not send American troops to Ukraine. This decision, delivered alongside Ukrainian President Zelensky, signals a dramatic change in U.S. policy. This marks a major shift, away from direct military intervention and toward a new era of American involvement. The withdrawal of troops and equipment from Eastern Europe is a visible sign of this transformation. Instead, the U.S. is focusing on diplomacy, providing security guarantees and restructuring military support. Aid will continue, but in new forms, emphasizing training, intelligence sharing, and advanced defensive technology. The focus now is on ending the conflict through negotiation, not escalation. Peace talks are being prioritized, with hopes of reaching a sustainable ceasefire and a long-term resolution. President Trump's approach emphasizes American leadership in global peace efforts, shifting away from boots on the ground to a more strategic diplomatic presence. This decision is forcing Europe to rethink its own support for Ukraine. European leaders are now reassessing their commitments, considering new strategies and preparing for a future where they may need to take on greater responsibility. The new strategy is clear: empower Ukraine to defend itself, with robust training, modern equipment, and intelligence support. Ukrainian forces are adapting quickly, determined to protect their sovereignty. This approach is backed by strong international promises, clear warnings of consequences for any future aggression, and a united front among allies to deter further conflict. This is a story of strategic recalibration, prioritizing diplomacy and collective security over direct U.S. military involvement. As the world watches, a new chapter in the Ukraine conflict is being written, one that could redefine the balance of power and the pursuit of peace in the 21st century. President Trump's message is unambiguous: American troops will not fight in Ukraine. This stance, announced after talks with President Zelensky and European leaders, is now the foundation of U.S. policy. Trump's goal is to end the war without risking a direct U.S.-Russia confrontation. He's pushing European nations to take more responsibility for their own security. The White House is now focused on brokering peace and providing security guarantees, not direct military engagement. The message to Russia: the U.S. won't fight directly, but will support Ukraine and impose costs for continued aggression. The U.S. is seeking a middle ground, supporting Ukraine without entering a major European war. With U.S. troops off the table, the focus has shifted entirely to the power of diplomacy. The world is watching as leaders attempt to navigate one of the most complex and dangerous conflicts in recent history. The stakes could not be higher, and every move is being scrutinized by allies and adversaries alike. Former President Donald Trump is betting on diplomacy to end the war, stepping into the spotlight as a potential peacemaker. His approach is bold, promising to use his personal relationships and negotiation skills to bring both sides to the table. The White House is working tirelessly behind the scenes to arrange a direct summit between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Trump has offered to mediate these high-stakes talks, hoping his presence can break the deadlock and encourage both leaders to make concessions. If successful, this could mark a historic breakthrough: direct talks at the highest level, with the goal of achieving a lasting ceasefire and a comprehensive peace agreement. The world has seen many failed attempts before, but this time, the stakes are even greater. Meanwhile, European leaders are coordinating closely, determined to shape a potential deal before any meeting takes place. Their involvement is crucial, as Europe will play a key role in guaranteeing any agreement and supporting Ukraine's recovery. The stakes are high. Success could finally end years of devastating fighting, bringing relief to millions of civilians caught in the crossfire and opening the door to rebuilding shattered communities. But failure could mean renewed violence, more pressure on Russia, and a deepening humanitarian crisis. The world cannot afford another escalation. Deep mistrust and tough demands remain on all sides. Yet the U.S. hopes its influence, combined with persistent diplomacy, can bridge the gap and bring the parties closer to compromise. The diplomatic push is ongoing, with the U.S. and Europe presenting a united front. Their shared goal is to prevent further bloodshed and restore stability to the region. Trump's role as mediator could be pivotal in finding common ground. His ability to command attention and drive negotiations may prove decisive in these delicate talks. The administration is wagering that negotiation, not escalation, can finally bring peace to Eastern Europe. The world waits anxiously, hoping that this time, diplomacy will prevail over war. Without US troops, Ukraine's future security depends on new international guarantees. These are not NATO-style commitments, but robust promises to help Ukraine defend itself if attacked again. Plans include a European reassurance force in neighboring countries and possible US air support, deterrence without ground troops. These guarantees would be formalized in a peace treaty, ensuring Russia faces consequences for violations. The goal, make Ukraine strong enough to deter future aggression, backed by clear, enforceable commitments. Negotiations are complex. Every detail matters to ensure credibility. This approach offers Ukraine a powerful shield, blending military deterrence with diplomatic backing. If successful, it could reshape Eastern European security, allowing Ukraine to stand strong with international support. The shield is being forged through diplomacy, not direct intervention. U.S. aid to Ukraine has shifted dramatically in 2025. After Trump's inauguration, direct U.S. aid was suspended, pushing Europe to take the financial lead. But American-made weapons still flow, now purchased by European allies and transferred to Ukraine. This new system keeps Ukraine armed while shifting costs to Europe. The U.S. remains the main supplier of advanced weapons, but Europe now funds the bulk of support. Ukraine continues to receive high-tech equipment, maintaining its edge against Russia. Poland and other European nations are stepping up with tanks and other vital gear. This model is a pragmatic, long-term solution. U.S. technology, European funding, Ukrainian resilience. It's a new era of transatlantic cooperation, sustaining Ukraine's defense without direct U.S. financial aid. NATO, under Trump's pressure, has reaffirmed it won't send troops to Ukraine, avoiding direct war with Russia. Instead, NATO members have agreed to dramatically increase defense spending, up to 3.5% of GDP by 2035. This shift will make European armies stronger and less reliant on the US. NATO has expanded, adding Finland and Sweden, strengthening its northern flank. Trump has publicly reaffirmed support for NATO's collective defense, reassuring allies. Ukraine's NATO membership remains off the table, seen as too risky while the war continues. US officials say security guarantees, not membership, are the practical path for Ukraine's safety. The focus is now on building a secure, self-reliant Ukraine with international backing. Europe is stepping up, transforming its own security landscape in response to the war. Ukraine's future now hinges on a delicate balance of diplomacy, shifting alliances, and the evolving security landscape in Europe. The choices made in the coming weeks and months will have profound consequences, not just for Ukraine, but for the entire region. As leaders gather behind closed doors, the world waits to see if dialogue can overcome deep divisions and chart a path toward peace. If a summit succeeds, a peace deal could finally bring an end to the war, though it will almost certainly require Ukraine to make difficult and painful compromises. These might include territorial concessions, security arrangements, or new political frameworks. Yet even a fragile peace would offer a chance to rebuild shattered communities and begin the long process of healing. Security guarantees from the US and Europe would be absolutely essential to making any agreement stick. These guarantees could take the form of long-term military aid, economic support, and binding commitments to Ukraine's sovereignty. Without them, any peace deal risks unraveling under renewed threats or aggression. If talks break down, the alternative is a sharp escalation in economic pressure. Donald Trump has signaled he is prepared to unleash a new wave of severe sanctions on Russia, targeting its economy and key industries. Such measures could further isolate Russia, but also risk broader instability in global markets. In the absence of a peace deal, Ukraine will continue to rely heavily on advanced Western technology and substantial European funding to strengthen its defenses. While NATO membership remains out of reach for now, Ukraine is building a formidable military infrastructure determined to protect its sovereignty and deter future aggression. Meanwhile, NATO's increased defense spending signals a new era for European security. The United States will act as the primary overseer and arsenal, providing strategic support and resources, but European nations are stepping up to take greater responsibility for their own defense, reducing reliance on American boots on the ground. The coming months are critical. The world is watching closely to see whether diplomacy can truly reshape the security architecture of Europe. Every decision, every negotiation will be scrutinized by allies, adversaries, and ordinary citizens alike, all hoping for a breakthrough that brings lasting stability. Ultimately, the outcome of these efforts will define not only Ukraine's future, but also the balance of power in Europe for generations to come. The stakes could not be higher, and the world holds its breath as history unfolds.